It's not. Yeah, it's not my Fourth of July. Exactly. Man. Whew. We're all good. Okay. All right. Well, first I want to just thank you all for having me and the Oakland International Film Festival. Brother Chris Chapman in the back there, sitting back and just to be part of this vision and I guess it was about a month ago or that you invited me and we did a tour and you showed me the facility and I am just amazed by what is happening here at Kingmakers of Oakland and and after that I've been just talking to people like Cecil Brown here. Cecil Brown. He has a film in our festival called The Forgotten History of the Student Nonviolent Movement. And you all may know Cecil from, if you don't know him, from writing the film Which Way Is Up. By show of hands, who in here has so Cecil in the front. Who in by show of hands, who in here has never seen the film Which Way Is Up? Never seen it. Oh my god! Oh my god! Really? You've never seen it? Well, okay, Which Way Is Up? Well, it is a must-see film. It is a must-see film, and at it, yeah, 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 live audience can't hear him because it's ever mic. Okay, so okay, so we have a mic for the audience. Okay, so 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 I just want to, if I could, just have starting from down. Just say your name and introduce yourself, and what's the latest in.
So my name's Theo Hollingsworth. I am not an Oakland native. I've been out here for about a little over a decade now, for 11 years. I studied film production at Howard University, and yeah, I feel like I started my film career out here though. I moved here in 2013. Really attracted by the tech industry, um, but once I got out here, I found that there was like a really budding filmmaking scene, and it just kind of fit my personality. Like I'm very much kind of like an indie filmmaker, not necessarily into the Hollywood culture of things, and I just felt like it was like a perfect fit for me inside of the Bay Area because it's like a lot of like kind of independently minded, socially conscious filmmakers, and then also like open to exploring new technology. Um, that's a big thing for me. Is like I found myself at the intersection of like film and technology. Um, so the last 3.5 years of my career, I was in part of the production management at Pixar Animation Studios. I just ended that, but that again just kind of continued on my path of like that intersection of film and art and technology. And then outside of that, I've shot a lot of commercial work out here in the Bay. I've produced a web series called Seriously, which is like it's like I always say that it's like this mix of like um, the character Seriously is this mix of like Mr. T meets Doc Brown from Back to the Future. He's like this larger than life 80s character, but it's set inside of modern day Oakland. And so that's kind of the passion project that I've been pushing for the past 3.5 years. Now I'm getting really into animation and producing a 3D animated short with some other local Oakland filmmakers here. And then as of this past summer, I've been here at Kingmakers of Oakland, and I manage our animation program. So we just finished up with our after school Yeah, let's see.
My name is James C. Earl Rockefeller III, the San Francisco Rockefellers. I started in this business back in 1986 as a stand-up comic. Got involved in a couple of local films back in the day. 1989, I got into television by way of music television. 1992, I moved to Oakland, California, started working for the Soul Beat Television Network. I was on, I had a 5-hour morning show, uh, did a lot of interviews, event coverage. I started my own company, BJTV, back in 1997, to where I first, what I was doing with Soul Beat, but I did it with a more international feel. Now I'm a public address announcer for Lake College, Mary College, Stanford University, OAL, and the Women's Premier Basketball Association. So I've worked with a lot of filmmakers throughout my career. I also started a company, or we started a company, myself and Ramesses, back in 2006 called Where Media Meets. And through Where Media Meets, we probably like 6 or 7 films. So the Bay Area is where we've done a lot of stuff. We've honed our skills here, and we're continuing through Kingmakers of Oakland, where I'm a multimedia producer, and I'm also an instructor, a trainer, you name it. So if it has anything to do with television, multimedia, I'm it. This is what I do.
Thank you. Right on.
Good evening, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me, but my name is Ramesses Head. Everybody calls me Ram. It's a lot easier. My career in media started in 1994, so 30 years in this year. That's when I was in high school. Started at KDOL TV in Oakland, California, which is the Oakland Unified School District's TV station. Worked there for many years, trained a lot of students there. Started my path as an independent filmmaker there as well. I've produced 6 feature films that I'll claim. I've directed 3. All 3 of those features that I directed all played in Oakland International Film Festival. So I appreciate OIF for sure. I've been working with Rock for a long time. Like you said, we started our studio Where Media Meets a long time ago. Been working with Kingmakers for over a decade now. I'm a media producer here. And yeah, this is kind of what I do. My last film was Strong Hawk, My Sister's Keeper, which is a superhero film based in Oakland about a group of sisters. So if you haven't seen it, please take a look at it. It's streaming everywhere, and I'm pretty proud of it. But yeah, this is kind of what I do. So pass it on.
Okay. Right on.
Oh. Strong Hawk, My Sister's Keeper. Yeah. You look up Strong Hawk, it'll pop up.
What's up, everybody? My name is Shaka Jamal from Oakland, California. And I like to say I'm one of the births of the Oakland film scene. After serving 2 years in the Peace Corps in South Africa, I was inside the Java House back when it was on Lakeshore. And some of y'all know the former Black Panther, Sister Tarita, Mama Tarita. She got up on the microphone and said, if you want to learn how to edit for free, come talk to me afterwards. I was like, oh, she's talking to me. And I had all this film and photography that I collected when I was in South Africa. Ended up making my first like short film. She was like the poetry teacher in a program called Dusty, Digital Underground Storytelling for the Youth, which was in partnership with UC Berkeley. We ended up, I think, doing the screenings at the Black Box, which is, what is it now? The club? Uptown. But isn't it another name now besides Uptown? Yeah, right on Telegraph, off of Telegraph and 17th. And the year after that, shot my first 3-4 music videos in South Africa. Year after that, became an instructor for Dusty. Probably 2 years after that, ended up going to SF State in their MFA cinema program. And then it's been freelancing and working for community organizations in Oakland since then. Founded my own production company, doing music videos, documentary, and promos. And shot my first web series with Kingmakers probably a decade ago, which was a 6-part series? It's six-part series, and got a chance to travel with Kingmakers, taking the kids out to Memphis, um, and saw the work that Kingmakers and AMA was doing right here in Oakland. And some of these youngsters work for Kingmakers now. You know, some of them have families now and in college, their own businesses. So it's just been beautiful being a part of this process. And I just got to shout out my mom. She was the first one to put like the old school camcorder, you know, the big ones you got to put on your shoulder. She had one of those and a camera, and I really think that's part of one of the main things that got me into filmmaking.
I'm sorry, got to jump back in because just like you, my mom was the person who really got me into it long before I started at KDOL. I actually had what's called a PXL 2000. That's a Fisher Price camcorder. And it can record video on a cassette tape, like an audio cassette tape. It recorded black and white video at like 10 frames a second on an audio cassette tape back in like 1986. So I got to give all the props to my mom for really getting me started in this.
So,
My mother just made sure I had a job. So my mother just made sure I had a job. She said, "You making money doing that? I didn't need a job."
So good. So good.
oh yeah, and I think my first documentary screened at Oakland International Film Festival, like 2005, Death of Tarzan.
Ah.
It was about my travels. A friend of mine is young black men in early 2000 being in Africa and just seeing the world from another perspective. Growing up watching Tarzan, and then we get there like, hey, it ain't nothing like what they told us. So it's just a part of just some of our travels as filmmakers and musicians, but also it was grouped with another feature documentary called it's hard to pronounce it, Kola Kodini, which is about modern day or contemporary rites of passage for young men in South Africa.
This brother's heavy, man. All of you guys. I just want to let's give it one
That's
more
deep.
time for our panel. And really, this we're just up here, but really everybody we're all in this space together. And I just want, if you could, Brendan, let's just introduce ourselves as we go through and just pass the mic, so the audience gets to know who's also in the house here, and then just share what you're working on.
Cool. Okay.
Mhm.
Everything good there tomorrow? Mike? I'm Brendan Anderson. I manage the media technology here at Kingmakers of Oakland. I started myself in journalism in 1992 after going to Cal. I'm Jason Kidd. Ended up coming to Cal, and I started as a sports journalist then and have been in the media ever since. So thank you all for coming out. It's great to see a lot of familiar faces and some new faces, and just knowing that all of you have a great interest in filmmaking and storytelling. So thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shia Shabazz Smith, and I'm a writer, director now. Currently working on my first film, Curdled, screened at the Oakland International Film Festival in 2015. And right now, Shaka and I are working on my directorial debut. I've been writing for Kingmakers animation project. Shout out to Brother Chris and Brother Theo, Brother Brendan, all the brothers at Kingmakers. I'm just grateful to be here and be among you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I say a little bit about making Which Way Is Up, but what really excites me now is being able to make my film about the sit-in in Greensboro, North Carolina. That was an incredible experience, and the story has not been told. And I finished the script a couple times, so now I'm thinking, listen to all these talented people, that I don't have to go anywhere, but just work, just work with you here. It's sort of amazing because I spent a lot of time thinking about segregation, but what's occurred to me is that it started at A&T with a dude sitting around in Scott Hall arguing at night about all kinds of stuff, but mainly about who we were. And the odd thing was that we didn't realize we were the same people. It's like what made the sit-in really work was that we had these songs we knew, but we didn't know other people knew the songs. We had these names like Brown, where there was no a tribe in Africa, a brown tribe. That came from the white man who had a plantation. And I could see that when I used to plow on the mule, this plantation would be just standing there. I could never figure out why would someone build a house like that and just leave it. And eventually, as I grew up, I began to realize that we came from that. There was a brick on the plantation called Brown, and that was the name of the, his name was Thomas Brown. But then I start realizing my name is Brown, and everybody in this little village, little town, had something to do with the plantation. And so, but when I got to A&T, I realized everybody in the room, everybody we were talking to came from the same situation. Everybody had a plantation that they could look at and wonder how in the hell did this building, so beautifully constructed, existed. And then when when some brothers came from up north crying the blues about having to go around he ordered a hamburger and the guy told him to go around the back and get the hamburger. I said, man, where you from? He said, Brooklyn. I said, you mean in Brooklyn you could ask for a hamburger and you didn't have to go around the back? He said, no. I said, well, do you realize you in North Kakalaki? And that's all we used to. I said, what are you going to do? He said, well, I'm going to go down there and sit until they serve me. Man, I fell out laughing. Because you're going to be sitting a long time, brother. But it turned out when he came back, they did it. They actually did it. They sat there and they said, a little old white lady came up and said, put a hand on his shoulder and said, I'm so proud of you. I said, damn, man. And he said, well, and when I did it, I felt like a man. And I said, damn, I felt like a man already, but there's something else to it. And so I said, when are you going to go down again? He said, tomorrow. So I went down. And so did 20 other people the next day. By the end of the week, there were 1,500 people from A&T College down there. And then it spread it like wildfire. I mean, everywhere. Just like we're in the newspaper, it was on TV. The whole thing was like totally amazing. Now, all of you guys know who Jesse Jackson is, right? Everybody knows Jesse Jackson. But Jesse was 1 year older than me, but it seemed like he was a senior class. But just as I was coming into A&T, Jesse was getting ready to go to the University of Illinois to be a quarterback. So Jesse was a quarterback. He's the head of the student government. He was the head of the oration club and so forth and so on. So Jesse was leaving, but then about 6 months later, Jesse came back. He walked in the door. I said, man, what are you doing back here? Because the idea, if you were, a Southern boy, your idea was to get your education and get the hell out of North Carolina. Why was he coming back? I'll stop.
See, so please, we need to, we want to hear the whole story.
Oh, okay. All right.
We also want to do the introduction.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Please.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
I apologize.
You're okay. I appreciate you. No,
I apologize.
If you're gonna bring some sort of something close to the end of it, you go ahead and finish. But I'm just saying.
Thank you. You remind me of being in the dorm because that's what we do all night long. Talk shit all night long. But essentially out of that comes some very serious thoughts that we are almost in that same situation now. The dark past that I experienced may be a darker past for the rest of all of us if we don't get out there and get this black woman to be president. So I'll end with that, and you can pick the rest of it up when I finish the film.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. Okay, and I will finish it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
How y'all doing? I'm Terry Hobson. NYU Film School in '91, worked in the entertainment industry, had a SAG talent agency in Los Angeles, for a lot of people in music videos, Dr. Pepper commercials, movies, and stuff like that. Worked with Shaka Khan, directed 2 shows here in San Francisco with Shaka Khan, so you probably seen me on stage with her back in the day. And then my last production on the big project, I was personal assistant with Wesley Snipes on a movie called The Fan here in San Francisco. I had to leave Wesley because I had my third and last child to be born. So the running joke for years was that this is gonna be my $1 million baby. Ha ha ha. Well, my daughter is my $1 million baby now because she got 6 shows on Netflix that she co-stars in. You, The 100, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Kaleidoscope, and if you've seen the movie now on Hulu called The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat, she co-stars with Sanaa Lathan. And so I just went down for premiere Roxy and all the pictures, whatever. But anyway, right now I'm working on 2 series, trying to get financing for it. One is called Chicago, The World of Chicago Steppin', about the dance out of Chicago. And the other one's about Black Wall Street, which is a guy here in Oakland named Eric Stanford, an old friend of mine. He has the largest black investment banking firm in the country. So those are 2 series we're working on. 10-part
Nice.
series that I wrote, produced, trying to get finance for it. Thank you.
Right on, Terry. Thank you, man. Thank you.
How you doing, family? My name is Khalil Jacobs Fantausi. I started off actually as a photographer. My mother had a Pentax K1000. You know, you got to get started somewhere. So props to moms.
Right.
And then I started making documentary films with my brother. And our first film is called Inventos Hip Hop Cubano. It was the first film about hip hop in Cuba. And we just been doing work since then. And we do something called the Fist Up Film Festival. It's starting in October. It's at La Peña mainly and Eastside Arts Alliance. And I have some flyers and I'd love to share them with you. Thank you for this space.
Thank you. Thank you. Clear.
Hi guys, is this on?
Yes, sir.
Hi guys, I'm Robert Parham. Originally from New York. My grandmother gave me a 16mm camera when I was 8 years old, and that's how I started my
Wow.
my introduction to the film. And none of that stuff ever came out because I always exposed the film. But anyway, I am the COO of Mayhem Films. We have lots of movies out on all the streaming networks. I've had the opportunity to work with Ron Van Cleef, Fred Williamson, Eric Roberts, Gloria Hendry, who's my second cousin. We just put out a film, well, we just finished a film called Cocaine Roach. Riding the wave, y'all. And we are in pre-production of a movie called Heroes, Mosquito, and Mama Don't Take No Mess. There you go. Thank you.
Mama don't
Hey,
take
explain
no
that
mess.
ring. I gotta know where that ring came from, bro.
The ring, another part of me is I used to be a professional kickboxer. So this ring is for the World Middleweight Championship.
I don't know,
So
man.
it ain't nobody taking it.
I'm gonna leave that brother alone.
Hello, everyone. And David, thank you for this space. You all are so amazing and have such a long, detailed resume. I'm Damari's mother, the gentleman in there. So there you have And you all talked about Dusty. He went through Dusty. He went through KDOL. And it's just such a beautiful thing. He's worked with Rock Ramsey, Mr. Chapman,
Yeah.
everybody, and David. So
Yeah.
just thank you for taking care
Thank
of
you.
my son and allowing him to express his creativity along with you. And thank you for just being his mentors. And yeah, that's
Thank you.
So I'm Elise
Thank
Hollywood
you.
Evans. That's it. That, you
Thank
know.
you. Hollywood. Hollywood.
Okay. Hello, my name is JP or Jesse. Okay. Hello, my name is JP or Jesse Walker, whichever one you prefer. I'm a Oakland-based director and screenwriter mainly. I just graduated SF State, where I did my undergrad thesis film, which is showing tonight at the Oakland International Film Festival. If you guys are going later. Other than that, I'm really excited to make more films set in and about Oakland. Working on a couple of scripts right now, a couple of features and teleplays. I've done some competitions locally in San Francisco and also in New York and Oakland. So I look forward to you guys seeing my work. Thank you so much. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Yep, yes, have a good
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stacy McClam, and I'm in my 4th year of production for a documentary feature about a mom in Ohio who was jailed for falsifying documents to enroll her daughters into her father's school district. You guys may have remember it about 10 years ago. So that one, and then a trilogy of narrative fiction films, one of which I'm filming in Paris in November. But it's about a Black American teacher. Thanks.
Right. Thank you.
Hey, y'all, what's good? My name is Cole Sexton. I was
raised in and up around Atlanta. My maternal roots are here in the Bay Area. My mother's from San Francisco. We all live here in Oakland now. She has also been a big proponent of my creativity, even more so now that she's going through her episodes of dementia. So she's sorry, I thought he was pointing at me. Anyway, just about me. I've always been a writer. Right now, I'm a screenwriter, editor, motion graphics designer. I started writing when I was here in the Bay Area. I started writing, self-published a book. Figured I wanted to become a funnier writer, so I started battle rapping. Got my feelings hurt. Did stand-up comedy. Been doing stand-up comedy for a good while now. Focusing more on writing. I'm chopping 2 screenplays right now and working on a feature. I also do a lot of content creation on IG. So if you ever see me there, the copy left, you can peep it and laugh, not leave a comment, but please like. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chaz Walker, just a longtime community brother and sort of a micro philanthropist. And I'm the proud father of JP Walker. Loving the space, want to do what I can to support the work you got going on here, but really seeing what an asset you are to our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm his mom. That's my claim to fame. My name is Ife Taya Walker, and I'm actually also the Associate Director of DEI for Northeastern, or Mills College at Northeastern, and we are proud to be one of the hosts of the Oakland International Film Festival this year.
Thank you.
Hopefully,
Thank you so much.
Whose birthday was yesterday? Whose birthday? Hello, everybody. My name is Spencer Wilkinson, documentary filmmaker based here in Oakland. I made a film called Alice Street, which came out in 2020. We just did a sequel called Ascendance that came out this year. I'm really interested in the kind of space between where documentary film meets kind of impacts and what you do once you make the film and how to bring that to different communities and create dialogues and try and move the needle on some of these crucial issues. Educator, kind of did about a decade of community work before getting into film work here in the Bay. Working on a couple features right now, just trying to keep this freelance documentary career going. It's about 12 years in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Hallie Bella, co-founder of Afro Comic Con, and so honored to be in this room with just this much amazing talent and people who have accomplished just everything. It's kind of overwhelming, but I can point to too many people in this room that have already been working with us at Afro Comic Con. If I said them all, I'd be here all, half the night. But I did want to just mention that our film festival is coming up in November, on November 6th at the Grand Lake, and we still have our submissions open. But yeah, David is one of our collaborators, partners, so I'm trying to support everything, basically everybody's good.
Right
so,
on. Thank you.
Really lovely to be here.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Angel Harris. I'm an independent filmmaker, and I have films streaming on Tubi and different platforms. And I'd just like to say, if you have a film streaming, please send it my way so I can view it and give you likes and support and everything, so we can support each other. You have films, let everybody know you got films, so we can all watch it and spread it out to our friends and stuff.
Is it Consequences? What's the name of the film, David? Was it Consequences?
It's Chaos and Consequences, spelled with a C-A, not C-H, C-A-O-S. So it comes up first when you search it.
Hey, I want to say thank you, David, for inviting me out. I know a lot of people in this room, a lot of people I don't know, but this is amazing. It's amazing for the Bay Area, and 1 second for our ancestors, right? Can we do that? Just a moment of silence. Thank you. I want to say to my mom, too, everybody shouting out to their mommy, I got one, I have one. But before I do happy birthday, y'all, my birthday Saturday to birthday people. Virgo Power. Um, Filmmaker, stage play, writer, producer, director, filmmaker, writer, producer, director. Um, my name is Farah. My last name's Dews. Got into filmmaking, same thing, you guys. My mom had bought an 8mm camera, and the thing didn't have, y'all remember, it didn't have no sound. So I was, what was it, about maybe 7 or 8, and I was inquisitive enough to get a tape recorder with my friends and try to tape what we were saying and film what we were saying. And my mom, we lived in a project in San Francisco, that's where I'm from. She put a sheet up, pop popcorn and hot dogs, and we thought we was at the movies. But that's where it started. I used to say, I want to be like the people in the box, Mommy. I used to point at the black and white television. I've been blessed since then. It's too much. I can't go through all the stuff, and I won't try. But present day, I've been in filmmaking and stage plays and stuff about 35 years. Present day, I have a movie called Hood Pretty. The movie's for female empowerment, and it's about anti-bullying. And it's inspired by the WBA Super Welterweight boxing champion, Raquel Miller, out of San Francisco. Great film. One day, hopefully you guys will get to see it. Hopefully I'll get streaming for it or something like that. But then the new film that I'm working on now is called Pink Diamonds. It's about a diamond heist in San Francisco. And I was able to get the OG, our OG of the Bay Area, but he's ours from San Francisco, Fillmore Slim. And how that happened real quick, I did the Broadway style stage play, Legend of Fillmore Slim story of his life last year. It went over real big with San Francisco, in San Francisco. So then from there, he's up in age. Fillmore's almost, he'll be 90, if you could believe it, this year. And so with Expediently, I was like, okay, he wants to be in film. He's working on his life story right now, but he wants to be in film. I'm like, okay, I got to do something. So it came about that he's starring in Pink Diamonds. Real quick, the idea for Pink Diamonds actually came from, it was a diamond heist in San Francisco when I was younger. So the idea kind of like came from that, plus a bunch of other stuff. So it's a lot of people came to help it out, and hopefully we'll get it streamed and hopefully we'll get it out there. And it is so beautiful to see all of this and the energy that's in here. And the studio is wonderful, but for Kingmakers, I got something for you. I am the author of a play called King Tut, the Boy Who Would Be King. We're coming up on our 30th year anniversary for this stage play. It was the Young Museum, Bayview Opera House, Black Repertory Theater, on and off for the last 30 years. I want to make it into an animated movie.
There we go. All right. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Malik Cooper. I'm born and raised in Berkeley, so I'm Bay Area born with all Berkeley schools. Proud son to a beautiful mom, rest her peace. But she also inspired me to love music. So I've always been passionate about music. A little brief tour in TV and came back to the Bay and started my first business after I got training on how to be a motivational speaker and worked in hip hop as an organization tool. I remember Java House, we used to throw open mics and all this stuff. And my friends and I decided recently to, find our favorite MCs, have them personify historic Black figures like Frederick Douglass, the man on my shirt, personified by Abstract Rude, do songs and go into schools and teach it. Because we know that hip hop is one of the most powerful tools, and education is under fire, and we found this solution. So there's a lot of different mechanisms, of book, play, and a documentary, looking for always support, because I always think just like strategic partners are the way to go. Every business I've ever had, I started my first one in Oakland, a print shop. I never viewed competition the same way, and I don't think we should either. I helped every print shop in the Bay get done. I helped Oaklandish start, gave them training. I helped everyone because the most important, at the same time as I'm doing my own orders, I was teaching it for free to the kids in Oakland because we're giving them all hope. And so I love all this energy because everything that you guys are doing, and bless the people that are doing it here, are inspiring us and giving back to young folks like the one here helping us produce this event. This is what it's all about, offering opportunity, giving hope, and our thing is just hip hop as a powerful tool to use in schools. So that's what I'm doing. Appreciate you guys,
Right
man.
on. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Carl Brown. I live here in Oakland. I'm not a filmmaker or a writer. By profession, I was a negotiator of real estate. I've always understood the power of the media as well as storytelling. So I'm just here curious to see what's going on today.
Right on. Right on. Thanks for coming. Thank you.
Hey, peace. How's everybody doing?
Good, good. Good, good.
My name is Naru Quina. I do a lot of things. I don't want to bore y'all with everything, but I was educator for over 30 years. I taught science. While I was teaching science, my students became bored, so I used hip hop to teach science. So for the last 20 years, I've been running a company called Hip Learning, where I use hip hop to teach science. One of my mentors in music was named Joe Capers. I don't know if any of you might know that name, but Joe Capers had a studio in East Oakland. He was blind, and he mentored some of the greatest artists coming out of Oakland. Some of the names would be MC Hammer, Too Short, Dwayne Wiggins from Tony, Digital Underground, and he passed away some years ago. So I decided to make a documentary. I didn't know anything about making film, but I was able to get a lot of those stars to be in the film. It was something from the heart. So that's how I got into filmmaking. And I found out about grant writing, so I was able to secure lots of funds. I've been able to help artists get funding. I have a nonprofit organization called Alternative Minds Foundation. I help artists with their contracts when they're dealing with record companies or dealing with anyone else to make sure that they know that what they're doing. My wife is an attorney, so she handles that part of it. I'm a consultant for the Black Cultural Zone in East Oakland. We just acquired property where Eastmount Mall is. Many of y'all know Eastmount Mall? And we bought the space right across the street. We're building a community center and affordable housing in that space. We just bought another spot on 73rd where we're building a senior center. We have office spaces on 82nd. All this is in East Oakland because we want to make sure we keep East Oakland strong. I own a home in East Oakland and a business in East Oakland, so I'm not leaving. And I love Oakland.
Thank you.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Lathan Hodge. I've been out here since '98. Moved out here for technology, TV producer, started at CBS, fell in love with media when I was 16 years old, had a TV high school when we had a television station there. So this is home to me. I really enjoy working with young people, and it's really been exciting. I worked with Dusty for a couple years when I first moved out here. Also worked at BET, running entertainment from them. But I said, hey, technology's changing. I want to start my energy as a company, started energy all over again for my career. And so I came out here and worked in tech. And so we were part of the whole MP3, MP4 movement, and worked with Chuck D, helping him to be a face out there to bring that forward. And now we're trying to work to make sure that workforce is happening in Oakland with the films that are coming back here. We've always had a great film community. So much talent in this room. I'm excited to be here. So thank you. I'll let the program start.
Well, let's get brother Chris has a Papa C ain't said nothing yet.
Come to the front. Come to the
Sitting
front.
up in the cut.
Greetings, everybody.
Yes, sir.
My name is.
Come to the front.
Come to the front.
Come
Yes,
to the
sir.
front, man. Come to the front.
I just want to welcome you all and acknowledge the King for recognizing we're all here because our ancestors dealt with far more with far less. And so I'm the founder and CEO of Kingmakers of Oakland. Really what we do is center Black boys while serving all children. We really inoculate our young kings while we address this toxic ecosystem that we call the United States of America in many ways. The public school system. And one of the ways that we detoxify the system is through asset-based narratives. I am not a filmmaker. I'm not a musician. I'm not an animator. But I'll tell you one thing. I have come to learn that the cure is in our culture. And so I've been honored to work with David, really for decades. Shaka, Ram, Rock. Met this young brother less than a year ago at Afro Comic Con. and was blessed that he left Pixar to come to Kingmakers. And Damari and Brendan, and she's so many folk. But narrative, y'all, whoever controls the narrative has the power. And so what comes out of this house, as much as I can influence, really are asset-based stories. And so I'm honored to be in your presence as I look at Sister Shia, and she just wrote 15 episodes of I'm a King, an animation series that, yeah, awesome. Give her love. I'm looking forward to meeting with Khalil. But just honored to be in your greatness, and just know this is your house. We were blessed to buy this building cash, so I don't have to ask. We don't have to ask for permission to have access to top technology to get stories out there. And so thank you, David,
Thank you.
for having the audacity just to say, hey, man, let's do something here. And we doing it. So outside of that, I'm gonna pass the mic back to Brother Brendan, and just you guys give yourselves some love for being here.
Thank you. Well, brother, serious business when you talk about culture, and I think we all can share the idea that, film is a very powerful piece of our culture. Like, how do we tell a story, or how do we hear a song, right? Who's I talking to? Brother over here, your brother Dre. We were talking earlier about the sister who is a park ranger who's 103 years old. And we know her as a park ranger, but this film that was just shown, she's actually also a musician. And she was just had the privilege of having a class of students perform one of her songs as she's 103. So one thing we all need to do is reach 103, and maybe somebody would do one of your songs. That's what I got from it, right? But seriously, like, songs matter. The way that like the brother mentioned, like the way that we repeat things, recite things. My folks would always say, like, oh, you can know that song, but you don't know how to do your homework. You know what I mean? Like, we can memorize that kind of stuff. And so we know it's a big part of how we think, our subconscious, and of course our images, right, of our culture. And so, so as I mentioned earlier, being in the space and seeing, was it 4 days ago actually opening day, when we showed music videos that were produced out of Kingmakers. Let's open it up. Let's talk about that process. If we, just like how it's been for you all to produce this kind of content that promotes something to make a king. To anybody, Theo, Rock, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm gonna pass it to Brother Shaka to start this off. Yeah, I mean, for a little bit of backstory. So, like, I found out about Kingmakers of Oakland because I attended Afro Comic-Con, and I have an animated series, and it's like very rudimentary level animation, because I'm just getting my feet wet and that stuff. And like, I saw the music videos that Kingmakers of Oakland produced, and I was like, yo, like, one video in particular is like a depiction of Oakland in 2077.
Right.
And I was just like, blown away. I'm like, yo, there's independent animation folks in Oakland depicting Black characters like on screen. I gotta get in with them, right? Because I'm like, it's a little bit of golden handcuffs at Pixar. You're like, yo, it's Pixar. Then you get in there and you're like, oh, like, everybody from the outside is like, oh, there's nothing better than Pixar. But inside we're all like, yo, we want to do our own things. We want to show diverse stories. And so whenever I found out about Kingmakers, I was like, I don't want to be at Pixar no more. I want to be working with Kingmakers, right? So that's what drew me in. And that's why I want to pass it to Shaka, because I wasn't here for like these initial music videos that you were one of the impetuses for helping to produce. So that's why I'm going to now throw it over to you.
Sure. So I like to say this was during COVID, and I was working on some film and music projects, and wanted to do some animation because I was working with some artists, and we couldn't do a music video. One person's in this country, so we're trying to figure it out. So I'm looking for an animator, and I'm just going through YouTube looking at credits trying to find, and I was like, oh, this video is dope, and it was a animator called Sizo. from Black Native Media. And we connected, and he actually helped me do, you're talking about depictions of Oakland. We did almost a 1 minute piece. It's about a history of Oakland, why Oakland is why it is, for my feature documentary, I Am Hope, which is about a yoga program I was running at Frick in East Oakland from 2016 to 2019. And then found out that Kingmakers wanted to get into animation. I think through Baba C, through Judd. And I was like, I got somebody dope y'all can mess with, but he in a whole nother time zone. And before we know it, how many years have passed? 2 years? Maybe 6 animations, 6 animated pieces, a couple short docs about how they're created have been shot, and now we're here. You know, I don't think we ever saw we were going to be screening at Pixar or film festivals, anything like that. And for me, you know, just being a part of Kingmakers and AMA and Man Up Conference, and just seeing how not only how the media has developed, but how the young the young kings have been developing. It's just a beautiful way to be a part of that process.
Definitely. So can you? Yeah. Get the little. That's right. That's what we do these days, right? And I want to. And I saw you mentioned Afro Comic Con, and then I know that Holly mentioned that, and I remember and the word Dusty has been going around also, because that's James, and Michael James was doing Dusty at Castlemont when I met him, and then working with Lathan back in the day. So there's a lot of synergy and folks doing, you know, different things. Can you talk about the Brother Rockefeller? Can you talk about the like, how do you see the animation in being like the way to go to build the future generation?
Well, people like animation. You know what I mean? It's visually stimulating.
Yeah.
And what they created with Kingmakers of Oakland, just the style of that animation is just super exciting. If you've seen the I'm a King, that animation piece, it's just powerful. You know what I mean? It's the lighting, the backgrounds, the characters, the whole nine. It's like when you watch that video, it's just, you know what I mean? It's different. And just watching these animation pieces, like when he was talking about the 2077 piece, each piece that we did in animation is different. You know what I mean? They all hold their own. And I wish we had a screen, so those of you who haven't seen it, you need to check it out.
But we could probably show them a little bit, just because we're going to be leaving here and going to Zanzi a little bit later. But I know it's probably too late to do that, but we would love to keep it out there and figure out ways to have the, you know, promoting, as the brother said, as far as sharing. Who said that? David Angel? It's a really, and I think that's one of the beautiful parts about us coming together here today in the space, is that, as you know, it's great to tweet something, or I don't want to say tweet because we don't really like, you know, but to share something, and then, but to have somebody else share it. And because we know each other and we can see the kind of work that we're all doing, we have different organizations sharing content, then we're able to better reach our distribution, you know. And Rand, we were talking earlier. Can you talk about some of your background and like with Tubi and maybe like how this could maybe be a part of what you see in the strategy as far as how we can get this animation out to the public?
Well, part of what Baba C was talking about is creating an animated series. And with that series, you know, distribution is a big part of it, and making sure you get the right eyes on it. And a lot of the youth are watching streaming services like Tubi and things like that. So that'd be a great outlet for something like this to get out to a lot of people. And I think the youth of Oakland will really like it because, you know, you're seeing people who look like yourself, and you're seeing familiar places in a very high-end animated look, which kids are not used to seeing. Like, it's pretty incredible to see East 14th Street and stuff like that in these animations. Like, that's not something that you see every day, because this is like world-class stuff. This doesn't look cheap at all. This looks like anything else that you would see on the Disney Channel or anything else. So I think the lots of opportunities are out there, and the streaming opportunities right now with something like Tubi TV is great because people don't have to pay to watch it. So a lot of people are willing to watch streaming services like that, even though they have commercials on them, because you already have to pay to have high-speed internet, to have the devices to watch and all the rest of that. So why not use a streaming service like that? And then that could bring the economics needed to keep on creating this type of content, because it's not cheap.
Right.
It's very expensive to create this type of animation. That's one thing that a lot of people don't realize when they see something that's like, a 30, well, like 3 or 4 minutes, it could cost $100,000 or more to create. So, it's a lot of opportunity out there, and we have access to these streaming services now like we never had before, which is a beautiful thing, because in the past, you kind of were a slave to the distribution companies. Now you get to these companies yourself.
Okay. So. I want to just and just say that if Cecil Brown says that he's comfortable just staying here, he don't got to go nowhere, then I mean, I think we're on the right page right now, because, but I think it also, a part that is changing is, like, as you mentioned, monetizing. And how do we know how we're being monetized when you're on a streaming platform? How are the analytics? Or do you feel like it's something that could we create the kind of platform like a streaming service that could promote the image that we may want as well as an alternative?
I mean, yeah, the opportunity to create something like that is out there, but the bigger services are still controlled by mainstream media. Like even Tubi, I believe, is owned by Fox. Like these are still huge companies really at the top of all of this, but we are getting access to more analytics, more data. Do we believe it all? Not necessarily, but at least we're getting to see some of it now. We're kind of seeing where things are going and what kind of views we're getting, which is a good thing. But definitely, I mean, and even just using things like YouTube, there are people who are getting millions upon millions of views on YouTube and creating strong economics through it. So,
Aren't you part of a isn't some of your films part of a streaming platform that promotes black filmmakers?
Yeah. Thank you for the oop there. Yeah. I like I mentioned previously, I have a web series called Seriously. It's on a Black-owned streaming platform called Quelly TV. KWELI.TV. The founder, her name is Deshauna Spencer. She's the only Black. I mean, she can easily make the claim that she's the only Black female founder in the streaming space now. Not a huge pool of them to begin with, but she's done a great work of curating content. My series is one of the first original streaming series on the platform, and she's licensed out of a lot of content as well. Actually, I produced and directed a short documentary about Mandela Grocery Cooperative.
Okay.
That I know you're a member of. My wife is also a co-founder of, and that's streaming on there as well. It is a paid platform, but it's kind of one of those. I mean, it's more affordable than most other streaming platforms. But I think that there is. I always kind of go back and forth on the paid platform.
Right.
I'm the type. I'm like, if I'm gonna pay for Netflix, because I know a lot of the titles on there, right? But I still love YouTube as well. I think that there's benefits to both paid platforms and non-paid ones. I just think that we're in an era where it's like, I heard a good convo recently where it's like, actually distribution isn't a problem for independent filmmakers. There's a lot of platforms to distribute.
Right.
The problem is marketing.
Absolutely.
Right? That's
Absolutely.
where the gatekeeping is at, right? Because I can put out my own feature-length film on YouTube and make money off of it, good money, if I actually could figure out a way to get a billboard or get a trailer in front of people. And I think that that's kind of like where the next innovation in media needs to come from, is figuring out how we can get more tools in our arsenal to get our content out there, like a trailer and stuff like that, and get more eyes on it. So then we can, then they can sit and watch it on YouTube, Tubi, Netflix, wherever we decide, is most supportive for independent filmmakers.
And I also want to add to that is that I think now we also have a opportunity to maybe take the best what we have now and then go back to like the Chitlin circuit. I know you remember like Haile Gerima when he came to Oakland, Sankofa, right? I think there's still opportunity, especially post-COVID, that people want to go to the movies. And if they know that there's something good that they can only see in the movie, that I think there could be some opportunity with that. You do need marketing with that, and let people know you're coming and everything, and be able to build the hype. But I feel that that's still something that is of service to filmmakers because the musicians are doing it. They go out on tour, right? Even ones you never heard about, they're on tour right now promoting themselves. So I think there's the bit of that grassroots we also have to tend to because we're just sometimes just another title up there when it comes to everything that's being produced all over the world.
So kind of like a hybrid where you have some kind of theatrical, like
Small-
a chitlin,
small
but then
boutique
you also
theaters.
do the streaming complement. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I also got to admit that a couple of our films have made it to Amazon Prime, and that was like one of the biggest looks for us because you can go look up the title, and I was like, "That's us right there." And I mean, I must have watched. We had what Basketball 316
Yeah, I
and
remember
Town
that.
Biz on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I must have watched the movies like at least once a day for like a month just to see it on Amazon Prime because it was cool. And I was telling people like when I was telling them that, you know, we filmmakers, we do our things. And one of our first movies, Town Biz, that people are still ringing about. They was like, y'all the ones that did Town Biz? Yeah, man, that's available on the, you know what I mean? So it was, it was just, it was a cool thing to see it on that type of platform. So, you know, I really love that. And then also a lot of other things that we do around here is like, we do a lot of short docs here called Portraits of a King. And Portraits of a King is you have to watch it. Like some of the subject matter is really dope. The people that we interview, we've interviewed, you know, young kings in schools from Seattle, Georgia, out here in the Bay Area, along with teachers and educators and the whole nine. And if you watch some of these stories, one of the stories of Portraits of a King, there was a principal at South Gwinnett High School, and she was the cousin of Emmett Till. And she went, she's the cousin of Emmett Till, and then she also worked for Motown. So just listening to her was like, I gained a lot from her. I must have talked to that sister all day. But, you know, that's some of the exciting things that we have with Portraits of a King. So if you ever get a chance, Portraits of a King, Kingmakers of Oakland, it's a very exciting series. We have a few of them, and I invite you to check it out.
On YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Nice. Do we have any questions from the audience or even a comment over here? Yes. Okay. We'll go over next time.
I got a question for the animators. It's an animating question. How do you see AI affecting animation as we move forward?
And I do want to clarify. I'm a producer. I can't draw. I can't animate. I mean, I can animate a little bit. I can edit and stuff, but I'm more in the production management side of things. But yeah, AI. I mean, as a producer, I'm super excited about it because it means I'm going to save a lot of production costs. As an artist, I feel some type of way about it because it means I'm killing jobs for others, including myself. But I mean, I think it's inevitable. Working at Pixar, I always just learned about John Lasseter whenever he started that company. And his focus was, I want to make the first feature-length computer animated film, right? It was like not a simple goal, but it was a very clear, direct objective. And now I'm kind of like, all right, there's somebody out there, and I'm even considering myself. It's like I want to be the person that makes the first AI feature-length animated film. I think that there's a lot of, it's still going to have human contributions, a lot of human contributions. But I think that there's a way, like right now, a feature-length film takes 4 years on average. Computer animated film at Pixar takes 4 years, and honestly, that's like on the short end of things. And a majority of that time is inside of like storyboarding and like development, right? Like really 2 years to actually produce and animate and all that stuff. It's like 3 to 4 years just writing and storyboarding, reiterating, screening it, writing, storyboarding. And I feel like that's kind of the part of the process that I feel like I'd want to target with AI. It's like, yo, like I love storyboard artists. I think the storyboarding process is great, but I know that there are already tools that are really speeding up that storyboarding process. I would manage a team of 15 storyboard artists that would all get 3 pages of the script, and they would take 2 weeks to draw out their 3 pages of the script so that they could send it to the director. Then the director could give them notes, go back, do iterations. Then when all that was done, they'd send it to an editor. That process of storyboarding would take years just to get something that you watch and you're like, I don't really work. So I'm like, I mean, if there's somewhere where we can kind of expedite that process, I think it's that storyboarding process. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a job killer in some capacity, but that's the thing is like the printing press came out, killed a lot of jobs, but a lot of new jobs came up as a part of that process. So I just kind of see it as like, okay, in the short term, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people like, yo, what do I do now? But in the long term, it's gonna challenge people to figure out like, all right, what are other different creative ways that I can get involved inside of this filmmaking process? Because you definitely still need that human touch regardless.
And AI has implications beyond animation, even in live action films, because people are already making live action AI commercials that they basically CGI, but it's all automated, the process, and it looks very, very real. So, you know, AI is here. So we have to accept it and utilize it the best way we can.
So wait, back that up again.
Yeah.
So you're saying that that a character is, well, I guess if you put in your prompt very specific as far as the emotions a character would have, then they can carry that through.
Right.
So, and you've seen things where the actor is really just like a human.
Yes, and it's completely
reaction.
AI based, but you wouldn't know it if you saw it.
Okay.
Already.
Current
day. Yeah.
All right. You gonna say something, Rob?
Not a thing. I just lost the job to AI. I was doing a voiceover for a cowboy museum in Louisiana.
Cowboy Museum.
Yeah, and they gave me like this whole script, and I worked on it for like 2 hours. And then 3 days later, they was like, "Oh, they said they were gonna use AI," and I was like, "They just don't want to pay me." So yeah, that was the first thing with AI, and I was like, "Yeah, I ain't worried about AI, but I'm not tripping. I mean, it's here, but
Wow, that's
it's never gonna take over like doing live games, so I'm not worried about it."
Okay, brother, right here.
Oh yeah, I did have a question. Well, I had a question, but now it's a comment question. Comment is, it would be great to see Kingmakers do like Sony did and training the AI up in-house, so that way the youth who come through here always have something to work with and work on with something that is owned by Kingmakers. So that would be great. Number one, and then number two, SB 1047. If Newsom vetoes it, come 2026, we should all vote yes on it. And that is to put shackles on AI so it's not doing the very things that were just brought up. Okay, question. Are the kids using UE Unreal Engine 5 for animation?
So this is the like first official season of the after school animation program. I'm actually very much focused on like introductory foundational stuff. In 2D animation, we're meeting with them an hour and a half a day, twice a week. So getting into Unreal Engine, Blender, any kind of like 3D modeling stuff, that's like you'd spend 15 weeks just kind of getting like that, just getting a sphere designed inside of it. So we're not there yet. I think we're planning on trying to do some workshops, some monthly workshops where I'm going to bring in some co-facilitators from Pixar and other studios and get into that. And then we're also going to start to offer advanced after-school programming in the fall, or we'll start to get inside of Unreal Engine and some other advanced techniques as well. But we just want to kind of get our bearings first before we start to introduce some of those more technical skills. Exactly. Oh wow. Oh okay. All right, I'm gonna holler at you.
There you go. All right.
Yes. So first of all, I have a comment I wanted to say. Yeah, Quayle TV. You guys is publicly traded. You can invest. I have invested in Quayle TV. If you want to see it grow, you want to see it continue, go ahead and put $20, $30, whatever you got. It's a small portion you can put in, or as large as you want. And it's a very good platform. And if you haven't looked at it or checked it out, like you said, it's the sister owns it. She might be the only one, I'm not sure. Definitely one of the first. So definitely check that out. Question would be, as far as you guys' animation video production here, is it open for collaboration, or do you offer your services for hire? How does that work so that we as a community can support what's going on here and not go outside?
Yes. We're working on a couple of in-house projects right now, but we all are also and that goes across all of our services. So we have a music production after-school program, but we also offer music production services as well. Fashion, same thing. Video production, podcast, and then animation. So that could run the gamut. Animation is an expensive and a time intensive project. So it might be like, okay, we have an idea. We can work with you to do some concept art for characters. We can put together a pitch deck. If you have characters already, you want to get into doing some test animations, pilot, cool. I think our sweet spot for the moment is like explainer videos and like non-fiction like documentaries with like a storytelling element that's animated. But we're flexible, so get at us and then we can kind of figure out how we can curate our offices the best services.
I just wanted to clear up, David brought that up. Dusty is the original program from our nonprofit called Oakland Technology and Education Center. We also do youth programs. We just had a meeting with Brendan and Theo today. But I just wanted to also say that, my partner, Michael James, a shout out to the portrait of the kings. I don't know if I'm saying it right, because I did see that at the event. I think it was at the New Parkway, Chris. And I was just blown away by those. I mean, I definitely say check those out. I'm pretty sure I was crying at least a couple of them. They were just really beautiful. I was like, wow, you guys are killing it.
Thank you. While you got somebody else? Question? No? Is there anyone else? Okay.
I do want to real
I
quickly
was just-
shout out Portraits of a King, Brother Shaka and Brother Judd, who wasn't able to make it tonight, but Brother Shaka, the cinematographer for that, showing all the beauty and brilliance and innate greatness of our King, and Brother Judd also directing and producing those as well. So definitely want to give your flowers while you're here as well.
Give thanks, give thanks. Yeah, Jud couldn't make it tonight. He said to tell everybody to make sure they know he's a genius.
That's funny. That's a Judd comment.
That's right on. That's right, Brother Judd. I'm really curious as a writer, Mr. Cecil Brown and Ms. Shabazz, because I'm thinking about this AI thing. I'm kind of still stuck on the characters that are playing these parts, because it's almost because typically the writer gives the actor the room to some extent to kind of, like if they're sad or if they're, you know what I mean, like how they're reacting to a particular moment in a script, and so it seems that as if the writer is doing all that and AI creates it, it's almost as if the fact that we all aren't really working together doesn't create the product. It's almost like add water, stir in a sense. You have any thoughts on that, Cecil, or any?
See, I think that we have to realize that the kind of films we see now were once so imaginative that we compared them to real life, but we get used to it. We begin to adopt the convention. So we got to explore Unreal Engine. You got to look at how, if I'm doing Jesse Jackson and Jesse is like, incapacitated, but we could take his image or his son and make it look so realistic that you forget that it's Unreal Engine, because you just like we forget that one time there were no sounds in film. They were just silent. But that was a artifact too. So it's a question of getting used to the fact that cars can drive themselves. That you can get a Waymo in San Francisco, you can sit back and it will drive. People are shocked at that. Yet humans kill more people than these. Kids go out and grab a car to joyride, but you don't joyride in a Waymo. So
let me
so in other words, you got to think about the world we're living in, and the function of writers is to do amazing things.
Right.
But the function of technology is to go even further, and we'll get used to it.
But we get used to it.
Yeah.
But does that? But are we? So like when you first could do the Chat GPT thing, and then you put in a query, and then you get a certain characteristic. They said that if you put in like a business person, it's usually gonna be like a white male may pop up, right? And so they have this. So we get used to this. Do we lose our ability to see the variance of like, for example, one of my favorite scenes in Buck and the Preacher is Ruby D, and Sidney Poitier comes in there, and she says, Buck, I can't live here, Buck. This land is tainted, and I can't, Buck. I can't have no kids here, Buck. We gotta go. Buck, we gotta. Like the rain, like she's, that's that theatrical, that she had all that experience from the stage, right? And so now she's taking this character to a place that we never could imagine. Because she's, why? Because she's Ruby D, and she got into the character and created this. And I just don't see how it. I hear what you're saying. That we could. You can put in the query. You can say, oh, this person is mad at this person or disgusted because of the relationship. He got home and there was a note on the door, and he saw it, and she said, "I'm leaving you. I'm never coming back again." So now you're gonna, But before, so it's like how you're upset now. You're gonna, but every actor takes that and then creates how they're going to
range.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I think that our leaning too far into AI
Yeah.
is dumbing down our critical thinking skills.
Right.
It's, so AI is a product of our imagination. We aren't necessarily to become the product of its imagination. It's building off of what it's being programmed to do. And
Right.
the programming right now is white, right?
Yeah.
So the information and the ideas that are coming into and through AI still do not capture the Black imagination. And a part of what is brilliant about what Kingmakers does is that we are infusing young kings and queens and non-binary young people to have an imagination, right? To think critically, to be lifelong learners, and to, I was watching a thing about AI recently. I'm also a teacher, so I got a lot of thoughts about this stuff. But Oprah had asked Bill Gates, what do we do? Like, what jobs will be left? What skills do we need to learn? And it was really around imagination and creative thinking. Like, if you can't do that, then you're already being left behind, right? And as things progress, right, we will have to start going, what do we do now? But we have to do it with a sense of curiosity and possibility for ourselves. Back in the day, we weren't written into the films and the stuff, so we're still playing catch up in terms of a lot of the things that we're seeing, right? So our voices, I think we have to be, just like everybody in this room, so committed to our voices and our presence being present in all of this, that AI is working with us and for us and not against us. So,
I just want to say one thing about Ruby D. No one is suggesting that you're going to create a Ruby D because you have AI. She is so unique that only God could, and her parents could have come up with that one. Right? So she's a great actress, but you're not taking anything away by using AI and Chat GPT. And I may say, as someone, a Southerner, who came up, listened to a lot of folk tales,
Yeah.
and then I studied folklore. We have Afro-Americans got the greatest folklore in the world. But do we read them? Do we read any of those books that came down from our ancestors? I don't think so. But there is where we can find some unique voices and ideas is in our folk culture, which can then be produced through the technology. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank
it's
you.
good.
Thank you. I want to get Brother D. LeBrie just entered the room here. You had your.
What's up, Salute?
Yeah, all right.
How y'all
Salute,
doing?
brother.
I recognize and built with some of y'all before. I'm a member of Hip Hop Congress. We do hip hop education activism, and I'm also a longtime hip hop artist from East Oakland. I went to the middle school right down the street, but as I've done music, I've gotten farther into the love of music and the nostalgia of listening of the Michael Jackson films of the past, of the like turning music videos into short films has led me further down the Ice Cube, Tupac route of exploring my love for acting, filmmaking, turning my films into like videos and trying to, even a few animated ones, trying to turn it into educational pieces. And so I just, in this AI topic, I was talking to the woman from the Post yesterday. She said she was at the Dream Conference and she was telling me about some AI stuff. I spend a lot of time overseas touring and living back and forth in Asia too, on the hip hop side and on the film side. And so that led me to some conversations with Hammer about technology. Many of y'all may or may not know he's been heavily into technology for a long time behind the scenes, but maybe not to people who are in the industry. You might know a little more. But we had a long talk one day after the after the Tupac street naming, which my org we tried to help make happen. Hammer was there and we caught up. He's been like a mentor for a long time. So now as I get older, he becomes an elder, even more elder mentor. So I have pretty much, I don't even use Chat GPT. Not that I don't want to or I got something against it. I'm just like still going through my processes, it's even especially on the film side, like I'm sitting with editors, we do my videos together, we sit and talk about the story. So I'm a little behind some of y'all on the film side, but on the creative side, I'm always ahead. I'm
Brother
always
D,
far ahead.
Brother
So
D, I want to, because I already got the 5 minute before
I'm
I
sorry.
gave it to you. So we're about to close out pretty soon. So I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure you introduce yourself.
Yeah,
And then
I wanted to make
just,
the point about the AI part.
Yeah.
With the convo with Hammer, and he had said some similar things. He showed me like some things he was working on. It kind of like was really interesting because they think of us as artists, musicians, but he was working on something on AI, like a comic book type of, like almost like a Black Panther with kind of like a Black Power type comic book type thing. And he was showing me how to use ChatGPT. I'd never used it before. And he was just telling me about how he has to plug in his thoughts. And he was just kept saying like, nobody can recreate the exact same thing I can because of how my thoughts visualize the imagination of it. And it made me a little more curious about using it because I really enjoy my processes. So I just thought that was interesting that someone who was in the tech that long I guess he had been thinking about these things a long time because he was so excited. We were having some other guy jump in the conversation and try to challenge him about AI, and they went back and forth and debated in front of me. This was out in the 209, but I just thought it was interesting. So I'm gonna dive a little more and see what I can learn from AI in the future. And, but I think the creative process is still in us. I still have faith in that. Like even when it was like IG and Facebook, those tools were there, but everyone wasn't using it the same. I was using it for promo. Some guys was using it to get a date or to post a picture doing karaoke. We was trying to get to Asia or get to Europe, get to Africa with those tools. So just creativity to the technology gonna work, but we gotta, like you said, vote right and do what we do to keep it from what's that iRobot type situation.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother. Pass that over.
I'm just D.
Thank
LaBrie.
you.
David Rose is my mentor, and
Thank you.
I love him a lot.
Thank
so.
you, brother.
And I do. And I know, bro, Brandon, don't kill me. I'm gonna make this real quick. This with our introduction to animation with the first cohort that we had this summer. I had 2 students. They could not draw at all, and they were challenged with the task of creating a pitch deck for an animated series or film, right? And so we leveraged that power of AI. One of the students in particular, he made an amazing presentation for an anime series, an Afro-Japanese anime series, and he created all of these. He generated a lot of art for those characters, and I found like nobody else could have, to your point, nobody else could have made that but him, because he spent so much time writing descriptions of the characters, writing the art for it, describing all of the artistic. And I think for me, I'm just like, yeah, there's a lot of challenges with this AI thing. But for me, anytime I see anything that levels the playing field and reduces the barrier for entry into artistic endeavors, I'm like, yo, that's something that we can leverage for Black students. Because right now you have to pay crazy amounts of money if you want to get this training, if you want to go to Cal Arts and stuff. So I'm like, look, if you want to get a taste for what it is to direct a concept artist, and iterate over and over again, and you don't have any drawing skills yourself, at least now you can get that practice of generating lots of art and figuring out how you verbalize your vision in a way that somebody artistic can carry that to life for you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I know in closing, for the most part, because we're closing out this broadcast, it's been a beautiful, event to see so many familiar faces, and glad to see everybody talking to one another. Just really was thinking about some of the films that we have in our festival, and some of the advantages that we've had is that as filmmakers is that time is different, because if you have the team, then you can kind of make the dream, right? Because you can rehearse, you can get your characters and locations, and it's the bigger budgets that makes a lot of sense what you're saying, because the big companies are like, yo, man, we ain't got to pay all them people, we ain't got to do the union thing, we can cut out all that. But for the small guy that still has that creativity and imagination, the way you made some of your films, it was really about just locking down a location, doing the rehearsal. And I want to say that we're in that game too, right? And that's what we're doing also as filmmakers. We're in that game. And I think that sometimes, while this technology, like when we first made our film, Sydney Bird Private Eye, that was in different film festivals, there was no nonlinear editing systems. We had to, it wasn't. We had to get it cut. We had to cut it. And just to say that technology has made it easier to make a film. And I think that we're kind of here now, that we could make it the old school way. Plus the AI is a good thing too. I think but I just don't want us to forget the recipe. You know what I mean? Because you get stuck in the AI, then all of a sudden you don't understand that it's the to make a good gumbo, you gotta have the seasoning. You know what I mean? You gotta let it sit overnight. It gets better the next, what you call it? The roux. That's what I'm talking about. Gotta have the roux, right? And it's usually better the day after, right? When everything, and so we don't want to lose that part while we jump over here. That's all I'm trying to say is that, so with that, I'm hoping, I just want to thank you all once again. The Kingmakers of Oakland, I think, is a model that's going to create Kingmakers all over the world. And definitely it's coming from Oakland, and it's coming from West Oakland. Right now, we are in West Oakland. This is the home of the Black Panther parties. They were right around the corner here, Huey, and a lot of things happen in this community. And so we're very honored to know that we're in this space, and that, we are standing on these great shoulders as we proceed. So please do talk to one another. We're going to be going over to Zanzi, and we're going to show some of the films. And so everybody is really welcome, to come over. It's just on Grand Avenue, 19 Grand Avenue, and see some short films. And let's continue the conversation. Because one thing about filmmakers is that, if you look at how Hollywood was actually built, these folks was living in these work areas, and they would just put each other down. Like, you the producer, you the director, you the star, So, you know, you starring, you know, and starring again. So then guess what? Everybody start calling you a star because you was in another movie. So as long as we keep supporting each other, get these productions done, we got the Fist Up Film Festival that can show it in October. We got the Afro Comic Con can show it also in November. So we got these different, you know, and then of course we're doing our film festival right here, and this is day 6 of the Oakland International Film Festival. So on behalf of the Oakland International Film Festival, and love to be here with the Kingmakers of Oakland, you know, everybody, God bless you.
And let's
Thank
remember
you.
James Earl Jones,
who's
been around since the
right,
50s and created 3 of the most iconic characters in cinema history. Darth Vader, Mufasa from The Lion King, and King Jaffe Joffer from Coming to America.
Well, don't forget Vernon Johns. When he played Vernon Johns, who was the pastor before Dr. King, and that was a real character, right? And it's a, powerful film just to kind of show this brother's reigns. And then Claudine, he did a hell of a job. Claudine, I don't know anybody else favorite,
Hey,
but that was really
I
her.
seen him when he came to I think Oakland, Berkeley. I was a kid. He played in Fences, the father in Fences.
That's right.
Yo, you saw that one?
Courtney Banks.
Yeah.
Hey, can't nobody do it like him. Denzel did a great job, but if y'all saw that live, whole nother world.
Yeah. All right. Well,
thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes.
So if this was the first time for you to come here, don't let it be the last. Please continue to come through and let's build and create films together.
And also we got Kingmakers have Black Loves in October. What's the date for that?
Yes, Black
The
Love
launch
is
for
dropping,
October, what, 27th or something like that for Black Love? Okay. Yeah.